I want to welcome everyone to the League of Women Voters of Broward County February General Meeting. Everyone is welcome. This program is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel. I am Stephanie Pearson, Chair of the Environmental Issues Committee of the Broward League. The topic tonight is Let's Rethink Waste. We have a solid waste crisis here in Broward. The clock is ticking for our cities and the county to agree to put into place an effective plan. If it fails, we may not have another chance to control our trash in a cost-effective and an environmentally sound manner. We are very pleased tonight to welcome Southwest Ranches Mayor Steve Breitkreuz. He's not able to spend the entire hour with us, but we will follow his presentation and his Q&A with a short presentation of our own. So, in means of introduction, Mayor Steve Breitkreuz has lived in South Florida since he was a teenager. He raised his family in unincorporated Broward, which became the community of Southwest Ranches. He served his community in many capacities over the years and was elected mayor in 2020. He has undergraduate and graduate degrees in finance and computer systems. Mayor Breitkreuz is serving on the executive committee of the Solid Waste Authority of Broward County and has played a crucial role in the development of this authority and the master plan that has been created. League members have attended all meetings and have been very impressed with his insightful questions, great ideas, and real commitment to doing the right thing. Since we are constrained by time tonight, please put your questions in the chat and we'll do our best to address them following the presentation. So welcome, Mayor Breitkreuz and everyone, and hope
Awesome.
you enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that introduction, and I really do appreciate the opportunity to be here and spend some time with you all. You have been Stephanie and others in the league have been so supportive of the efforts that we're working on in the Solid Waste Authority. And just at a really high level, before I get into the details, really high level, so what this is a group that's putting together a 40-year plan. It's good for us, but it's even more important for our kids, our grandkids, and those that follow behind us, because it's for the next 40 years. And that's, to be honest with you, that's what motivates me, is the importance that it is for the next generation and and thereon. So, but we've put together where we are right now. It's been about 2.5 years almost that we've been together, and we have developed the master plan, which I'm pleased does not include any new incineration. That was a big, when we started this effort, that's where I wanted to end up. I wasn't sure that's where we would end up, but that's what's in the plan. So that was exciting. And so what we're attempting to do right now, we're at about it's just recently changed, but we're about, I'm going to say, 39% recycling. Everything that the waste, 39% of it is recycled. Our goal is to get up to 75%. And so without a plan, we're not going to get there. And this is a plan that is going to be an ongoing effort. It's not a turn on the light switch kind of a thing, and then we've accomplished it. But it's going to be a journey, and I think it'll get us to where we need to be over time. So with that said, where we are today is we have developed this master plan, and we are just finalizing a facilities agreement that goes with it. And what that means is, so to implement the master plan, we have to bring online some new facilities and some new locations with functionalities and things that they can do. And so there's going to be a cost associated with that. And so right now we're finalizing that facilities agreement, which dictates how much cost it is. And it looks like it's going to be about $6 per household per year, which I think is extremely doable and certainly well worth what we will accomplish through this. And But we're going to finalize that. And this should all be done over the next about 30 days or so. We're looking at really mid-March to have this all completed. And then the big effort goes out to all of the municipalities. We need to get the municipalities to sign on. If they sign on, if 80% of the population through the ILA signs on, then it becomes a legal agreement that we can move forward with. And if we don't get that, frankly, it all falls apart in August. So this is really critical. Everything we've done is important, but if we can't get um, the communities here in South Florida and Broward County to sign on, all this work falls apart. And so that's why I'm excited to be able to share this with you all today, because this is going to be an effort that's going to take a small army to get accomplished, to go out to all the municipalities, kind of state our case, let them know just how important this whole effort is and how critical it is right now at this juncture. And so the SWA, we're developing a game plan for that. And once that is developed, once again over the next 30 days or so, then we will work to get that out there and make this all happen. So, with that said, that introduction, let me give you a little bit of a view into the SWA and where we are moving forward from what I just verbally said. So. I'm going to share my screen because I want you to see where we keep these tools that I'm going to be showing. And this is being recorded, so you'll be able to look and see this again. And so that if you want to look at them, get familiar with them, or you want to share them with somebody else, you'll be able to do that. So let me share my screen here. Okay, so hopefully you're seeing the Solid Waste Authority Google screen here. Can I get just a thumbs up or something that is
Yes, it's working.
awesome? Very good. So all I did to get here, there's a million different ways to get here, but I think the easiest way to get here, all I did was I just typed in Broward SWA in the Google search. And the very first thing that pops up is the Solid Waste Authority of Broward County, and that's exactly where we want to go. So I'm going to click on that. And it takes us to the main page of the website. And there's a lot of different things we could do here, but we're going to focus in the communications piece, the education piece, and that is down on this piece right here, the toolkit. The toolkit has a whole variety of ways to educate and communicate the plan to whatever group you're looking at. And we'll get into that a little bit more. So I'm just going to click on that. And this brings you then to the toolkit. And the toolkit falls into three different categories. There's a presentation that I'm going to walk you through in just a minute. There's FAQs, and we'll walk at those very briefly as well. They're tailored for different types of situations, and so we'll walk through that briefly. And then there's some videos that are easy to share and easy to view and are very educational as well. So we'll take a look at those real quick as well. So let me start with the actual presentation. So this is a PowerPoint presentation that was put together by the education team, and so we'll just walk through that. I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail on it because our time is limited, but I want you to be able to see the high level view of it and know how to get there so you can look at it more. So basically, this is communicating the master plan that we did. So we have a plan. And so, this is one of the perceptions that is tough to get past is it almost works too well. You put your garbage out there and in the morning, you come home in the evening and it magically disappears. That's what it feels like. And but there's obviously a lot more to it than that. So So these are really some of the facts about it. It doesn't just disappear. It's got to go to a landfill. It's got to go somewhere. A landfill, a waste to energy, which is the incineration. Uh, it's got to go somewhere. It doesn't just disappear, right? We all know that, but it's works so well sometimes that we almost take it for granted. So there's obviously different play. I'm not going to get into all the details, but the volume is incredible. So I mean, I've been talking for about 10 minutes. So that's like 200,000 pounds of waste has been generated just in the time that I've been talking to you. So, and that's just in Broward County. So it's a huge amount, and it just keeps building. And more residents are on their way. So what can we do? So all these municipalities have come together, and they have become a part of agreed to the ILA, which created the SWA to put together this 40-year plan. And like I said, the master plan has been developed. Um, and now we're at the point where we need to communicate that out and get the buy-in from all of the municipalities. This is just an overview of basically what we're trying to do. It's critical first to reduce, right? To reduce the waste. There's things that um, we may need to do through legislation that maybe you all can help us get the word out on as well. For different types of packaging that is preferred and that can be recycled over some of the packaging that's done today. There's reuse, things that we throw away. Maybe somebody else can use them. And so there's reuse. There's obviously recycle. We're familiar with that, a lot of the cans and things like that. But some communities in Broward County don't recycle. So we've got to, work on that. And we've got to improve our recycle, do more and more. And then there's the recovery. This is really the waste energy. And then anything that's left over, there's almost always going to be some residual that needs to go into a landfill. So the idea here is let's put everything in its right place so the landfill piece is minimized. I actually went out to the Broward County landfill just earlier today, this afternoon, and they've got about 10 years worth of more space out there, and then they've got an issue. So the more we slow it down, we want to be able to make that last longer and longer. Um, so we need to move forward with this master plan. Obviously, it's for the long-term health of our community, mitigates flooding. It had waste does have some value. A lot of times people think that that recycle stuff does it really have value? Well, there was times when it didn't, but those times are past. And so the processes, the technology to be able to work on those recycle and reuse them has improved. And so the waste really does have value. And so we want to put more and more of that recycle so that it's better for the environment and we get value out of it. So yeah, this is basically saying, anything that you could recycle and you're throwing away something with value. To me, this last bullet point, as I said before, that's the number one thing. We've got to do this for the next generation and beyond. All right. So authority, basically, I'm just going to summarize this and say that it's important that we have one authority that is able to control the waste, because the more that we have coming together, the more flow control, as they call it, the more leverage we have to develop contracts that are more beneficial, that are more economical, that are cheaper to be able to implement, and therefore motivate, more and more communities to participate and frankly to reduce our assessments and taxes. So if we can all come together on this, I have no doubt that the overall cost for virtually every municipality will go down because you just think of the volume that we're speaking at and the type of contract we could put together with that massive volume. So as far as the next steps, this is where we are, and these are the upcoming steps. We're just finishing up the financial modeling. That's just coming to a conclusion. Next month, we will be finalizing adopting the master plan at the governing board level, and then we'll make recommendations on the facilities amendment that I mentioned earlier that actually lays out what the costs are going to be. And that is what we will then be taking to all the municipalities. So from April through June is when we'll be doing this outreach to the cities. Would love to, partner with you all to be able to do that. And here's the critical part. We have really until July to get this 80% of the population of the current ILA members on board to approve the master plan. If we don't, the whole process ends. And so it's really critical that we are able to do this. But the good news is we've got a great plan. We've got a plan that we've been working on for a couple of years, and I think it does what we need to do, and it also doesn't do some things that I think would be very difficult to sell. So I think the cost will be very minimal. I think that the plan is very good. It accomplishes what we need to do, and it doesn't have things that we might not appreciate. So. And then these are different ways to get in touch with the SWA and everything there. So I'm going to pause there just for a second. I'm going to come back because I want to show you the FAQs and play a video or two for you. But I'm going to stop there just for a second so that you can, maybe if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
So there is one question here. Can you repeat the percentage on how many cities need to participate?
Yeah, sure. That's a critical point. So it's not really based on the number of cities. So when we started this whole process, there was a group that went around to all the municipalities. They came to Southwest Ranches, and that was really the first I heard about it. Uh, and through those presentations, 28 of the 31 municipalities in Broward County decided to join the ILA and be in the process of creating this master plan. So the answer to the question is that 80% of the population of those 28 municipalities have to join for it to become a reality. So what does that mean? So that means like a town like Southwest Ranches that has about 8,000 people, I feel I feel very strongly we're going to join very quickly, but that's not going to get us over the hump because we're just a little town. But it's going to be, we don't need to have everybody, but it's 80% of the population of that original ILA. That's what needs to join. Is that clear? It's a little confusing. I hope that's clear.
I think so. Melissa, if you've got, Melissa's follow-up question is, how is it voted on?
So it's voted on at the council and commission level. So each commission will take a vote to decide whether they wish to join and adopt the master plan and facilities agreement, or if they wish to not adopt it. So it'll be done at the commission level.
Okay. Erica had the question, what cities were not in alignment to the master plan? So again, I think the question is, which cities are not part of the ILA?
Yeah, so there's three of them. It's Pembroke Pines. I think it's Hallandale
Allendale, yes. And I think
and
Deerfield, isn't it?
Yes.
Pompano Beach.
Oh,
no, I think Pompano.
I
And
think
I'm sure the third one is. I'm not
Alyssa
sure.
knows. She's shaking her head.
Yeah, yeah.
Susan put it in there. It's Pembroke Pines, Pompano Beach, and Hallandale Beach.
Oh,
Okay.
it is. Okay. Thank you. So those are the three that did not join. And but but they can join. It won't really affect the adoption, but certainly once the plan is there, I know I've spoken with the mayor of Pembroke Pines, and his concern was not that he didn't think that an overall plan wouldn't be good, but that he was not comfortable joining until the plan was available. So I'm hoping that individuals like that and commissions like that will take a look at the plan. They'll think it's a good plan, and they will still may join. So I'm encouraged by that.
I'd like to ask a question. So the risk, so we need to focus probably if we want to help lobby these cities, is on the large cities.
That's
And
correct.
what is well, first of all, what is the risk if this doesn't make it? And second of all, what about these large cities? What could be on their mind if they are not, enthusiastic so far? I don't know what you
Right.
suggest,
So as
what
far as the I'm
concerns are that we could address. Yeah.
right, right. So first question, what is the risk if we don't adopt it? When we created the ILA, there was a deadline to have it approved by this 80% group, actually by August of 2025. But it did have the possibility of a 1 year extension to August of 2026, which was extended. There is no option for a second extension or any further extension. If we don't have this agreed to by August this summer, basically the ILA becomes null and void. And so we would still have the master plan, but we have no facility, no tool to actually bring it into reality. And so that's why it's so very critical that we get out there and make these visits so that the municipalities can have an educated look into what we've accomplished and the reason why it's so important to join.
But
Now,
that brings, oh,
well, let me just finish the second part of that question was yes, I think so. There's two elements of putting together a strategy for communicating with these cities and towns. The first one you hit on the nail on the head. The bigger the city or town, the more critical they are that they join. But there's a second piece. One of the great things that our consultants are doing right now, and it's in process. It's not complete yet. I had my interview, but they're actually going out and interviewing the ILA members to determine, kind of get a feel for where each municipality is in their process. Are they comfortable that they will be approved by the commission? I told them, listen, don't spend any time in Southwest Ranches. We're on board, and so they're not even going to send anybody out to Southwest Ranches because there's no need for it. Let's not, let's devote our effort to where they're. So the point is that they are calling and making this plan together based on direct feedback from each of the municipalities. So it'll be based on the size and that feedback is more detailed than just yes, we need help or no, we don't need help. It answers some of those questions that you brought up, like if they have concerns, what do you think the concerns of your council or commission is going to be? So that we can, get the best people there to answer those types of questions. If maybe it's financial, and maybe we need the financial folks to be able to go and talk to that group. Maybe it's a concern about waste to energy, and we can have somebody come out and speak to that. I don't know what it'll be. But they're getting that feedback so that when we go there, we can maximize that visit and make it as impactful as possible.
Okay, and then the follow-up question is, what are the major elements of the facilities agreement that's going to be presented to the cities that the cities have to approve?
Right. So the facilities agreement we actually thought was going to be a much bigger deal because, like I said, when this process started, it all indications were that there was going to be a waste to energy um, facility involved, and that was basically anywhere between 1.1 and 1.5 billion dollars to accomplish that, to build that, and so that was going to be a very large number, and but as we went through this, we came up with different alternatives, in my opinion, better alternatives, and that's no longer part of the plan. And so that's not part of the facilities agreement. And so that's why it's only between $5 and $6 per household. So what is included? There are basically some different facilities that are throughout the Broward County where, and the name is not coming to me at the moment, but basically where you would, transfer stations. That's what it is. Transfer stations where you would, can be used to dump different types of waste and then take it to its final destination. You don't want a truck from northeast Broward to drive all the way to southwest Broward for one reason or other. You set up transfer stations so it can be more economically sound to do this once again to lower the cost. So there's several transfer stations. There are some other facilities that are being looked at that are more along the recycling that are also in the plan. I don't have a list in front of me, so I apologize. It is in the master plan. You could just read right through it, and it would list them there for you.
I might
Okay.
ask you to stop sharing, so
Okay.
that might be a good idea, just so we can see better. Okay, thank you.
And one question is, there's House Bill 4039 that is in the legislature this year. This is the bill that was filed by Representative Daley about the solid waste disposal facility in Broward County, defining Monarch Hill, etc. Is that going to have any impact on the ILA, on the master plan, on the facilities agreement, or is that just an entirely separate issue?
Well, what I would say is that no, it won't have any impact on the master plan per se, but I wouldn't say it's a totally separate issue either, because if the master plan is adopted, right, then we will have to work with all of the restrictions and regulations and laws that are in place. It won't supersede any of those. So anything that's being passed by the legislature will certainly impact our implementation. However, it does not throw us off course at all as far as the master plan.
And then one last question, because I know you'll have to be leaving soon. Stephanie Joffrey's asking, she thought the transfer stations were no longer going to be built.
Well, Stephanie's at the meeting, so I trust her. I trust her opinion. I'd have to look. To be honest with you, I'd have to look. I thought they were still in. There were some items that were initially included, and then as they got into more details, they were removed.
I think they were
Stephanie.
put back, though. I may be wrong, but I think they were put back. We'll
I
have to
thought they
check
were
on that.
removed because that was one of the ways we got down to the $5 or $6. But Alyssa,
Uh,
Alyssa, do you know?
Elisa may know. Yeah.
Alyssa, yeah, that's what I was wondering if Alyssa knows.
I don't know if she heard us. Okay.
I'm gonna have to check because there's a list of things that are now included
Yeah.
in this first phased approach. So let me check for you guys.
Thanks.
Okay, are there any more questions if you put them in the chat? Erica says June 3rd, the Environmental Advisory Board for Pembroke Pine presents their plan to the City Commission for request. And has this been presented to the Pembroke Pines Advisory Board? Now, they're not part of the ILA, but
Right.
are they going to receive these presentations also?
I would like for them to receive them. I mean, I would love to see them review them and see if they fit for Pembroke Pines. We would love to have them join.
But they won't be voting at this point in time on the facilities agreement.
No,
Yeah.
no. That's just for the ILA members.
Okay.
Uh,
I think, go ahead.
I just think we ought to, I think some of the cities need to be convinced, certainly, that working together and the economies of scale is best for all of us. And I think this is a key point, and that I'm not sure how closely some of the commissioners in the county have really followed the deliberations. And maybe it's appealing to think that, well, we can do better on our own, but I think history tells us, especially in Broward County, this didn't work out too well last time, and that the private companies may take advantage. I mean, this is just something that's been talked about, so it's important for us to communicate with our city commissioners about what's going on, and emphasize the importance of working together for the betterment of all. I don't know if you would agree with that, but
I definitely agree with it. My only caveat would be to say, let's wait until we hear back on the plan for communicating to the municipalities so that we don't, in all our efforts to do good, we don't make, a misstep.
yeah, we want to hear what their concerns are, I suppose, is what
Right,
you're saying.
right.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, well, we know you have another meeting. We really appreciate you being here, and we'll continue to attend the meetings and do all we can to help the process. So, thank you.
Awesome. Well, once again, I sincerely appreciate your support. You all have been amazing going to the meetings and bring up great points. A number of times, things that I didn't think of, you all brought up, and we were able to then discuss them and get them out on the table and talk to them. So it's been awesome to have you all be so active in this effort. I'm going to say one last thing, and that is, so feel free to go back there. You can walk through, definitely look at the videos. They're awesome. There's the cutest one you've ever seen in the world where the kids are narrating it. I think you'll love it. But there's other ones that are really good as well and have a lot of facts in them. So thank you for the time this evening, and I really appreciate you letting me join you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. You all take
Thank
care.
you. You're the best.
Oh, thank you. All right. Okay, good night.
Good
Night.
night now.
Good night.
Okay, we're not all leaving. We're still here. Thank you all for coming. This is great. We did prepare a little presentation of our own here, and we can try to delve into some of the issues brought up a little more closely if you like. So I'm going to share my screen and hopefully find the PowerPoint. Yes. Here it is. Um, Okay, I guess everyone can see that. It's very big. Okay. So we're the League of Women Voters of Broward County, and some of you who are not as familiar with the League may wonder why an organization known for voting rights is involved with trash issues. Well, we are nonpartisan. We never support a candidate or a party, but we do take positions on issues. And when we do that, we advocate and do our best to educate the public as well. So here's some photos of trash. Here we are at the tour of the waste management facility a while back and showing some paper, plastic bags that get tied up in the machinery and so forth and all the trash. So way back in 2018, 2017 is when discussions first started taking seriously doing something comprehensively about solid waste in Broward County. So we were there when the solid waste working group first started, and this was a report provided by a consultant that tried to start evaluating the situation. Since then, of course, Solid Waste Authority of Broward County has been established. 4 different consultant firms working together were hired with an executive director, an executive committee, a governing board, and finally we get to the point where we have a master plan. It's been a very long and arduous process, but we've been very impressed that a master plan has come out of this that emphasizes source reduction and effective recycling that is realistic and practical, and it joins 28 of our cities with the county. So these are some facts, some talking points we call them. This is going on for more than 50 years. We create over 5 million tons of waste every year. Our landfill and our incinerator are almost at capacity. None of these facilities are owned publicly, and what I was trying to get at before is that we are at the mercy of for-profit companies, and the costs will only rise. So going it alone is a risky business. Our recycling rate now is only about 30%, which is pitiful, and we are wasting resources and harming our environment. When our cities and county work together, we can take advantage of economies of scale to control costs, protect our environment and our health. And they've labored to develop this master plan. To not go forward now is to forfeit the opportunity to effectively address our solid waste crisis and control our future. I need to get these pictures out of the way so I can see. Okay. All right. So the master plan was developed with what they call a zero waste lens. So what is zero waste? It's a philosophy of conserving by means of responsible production, consumption, reuse, and recovery, and so forth. It is aspirational. There will never be actually zero waste, but you aspire to have as little waste as possible. So in the master plan, they use that approach and do emphasize reducing waste up front, expanding recovery and recycling, strengthening infrastructure, in other words, using the assets that we have to handle our waste to the extent we can, improving governance and financial sustainability. We're going to be discussing flow control in a minute, and promoting environmental protection and equity to ensure, equity to ensure that historically burdened communities benefit from cleaner operations, better access to services, and participation in decision making. So these are the numbers we've been talking about. They're quite mind-boggling. And if you visit our incinerator or a recycling plant and you see actually see the amount of waste being dumped there continually, I think anyone who sees that would feel this, yes, we have a crisis, something needs to be done. So they did a waste generation study and a waste composition study to find out what's in our waste. And so 35, in the residential section, compostable is 35%. And that is food and yard waste primarily. Recyclables, 31%, potentially divertible is 13%, and non-divertible, things that we really can't do anything with, is 21%. So these are this. You can access these studies, by the way, on that website by looking at the white papers, which are on the website. So flow control. Flow control is something that we mentioned before. So that, what is it? It's the ability to direct where our waste is taken after it leaves the curb, to ensure that the materials are being taken to the correct location. So some people say, I don't believe we're recycling. I put my stuff out and I don't know that it's being recycled. So flow control is making sure that, the waste that's picked up goes where it's supposed to go. And so it protects future capacity, for example. It extends the life of the landfill. It improves recycling and reuse and keeps rates fair for everyone. And again, trust. The trust that, yes, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing with our waste. We're not being deceived. This is what's really happening. So how will this new authority establish flow control? Well, they're going to use existing waste and recycling facilities, and they're going to be building some new permanent drop-off centers. And they're going to have new programs to help us reduce the waste and treat it effectively. Countywide curbside. There's a lot of communities now in Broward that don't have recycling. So this will extend recycling throughout the county. Separating curbside yard waste, what they call clean and green. In other words, getting everyone to put their yard waste separate from other trash so that it's a good product, can be marketed well. There may be food waste drop-off events. And there are some programs now in Broward where they are collecting food waste. Of course, you want some household hazardous waste and electronics drop-off sites, and you want them to be permanent and more available. Reduction, reuse, and diversion programs are part of the plan, and harmonizing collection services. So what this means is everybody's on the same page. Right now we have cities all doing different things. There's a lot of confusion. What should go in the recycle bin, what shouldn't, and so forth. And harmonizing means making it all the same and promoting it that way so everyone knows what to do. So this is the website that Mayor Breitkreuz pointed out. And this is a range of options and scenarios. They selected scenario A, which prioritizes waste production and prevention. And this is something that the League advocated for from the beginning. It makes the most sense. We've got so much waste to work on reducing it up front so we have less that we have to worry about. So the waste generated goes to, reuse policies and programs, diversion programs, and there are ways of dealing with it here through recycling, but also through composting. And there is energy recovery, which is our waste to energy plan. And some waste will have to go to landfill, but hopefully almost, I want to say almost nothing, but very, very little as possible, let's say. So I'm okay. So these are policies and ordinances that are suggested in the master plan. Harmonize, as we said, minimum curbside waste collection, expands the recycling access, so every community has access, require yard waste to be recycled, enact a mandatory C&D recycling ordinance. This is construction and demolition debris, which takes up a good chunk of our landfill and is very recyclable. There are firms right now in Broward that are ready, willing, and able to effectively recycle C&D. And so there's been an effort by this group to encourage that to occur even outside of the master plan, outside of the agreement. So they want to enact a mandatory commercial recycling ordinance, develop additional residential drop-off centers, explore food waste collection. And again, there are some pilot programs in place now in certain cities in the county where they are really starting to compost. There's some compost firms that are working now in the county and implement supporting policies and actions. So these are all things that will help us get to where we need to be. Education, education, education. That's really something that we've stressed and that has been stressed over and over again, the importance of educating the public, continuing to educate them and communicate. And so it's recognized that this is a good chunk of the program going forward and will have to be a continuous program. Palm Beach County has been doing this for many years pretty effectively, and they found when they tried to decrease their public education budget just a bit, the contamination went up. So it's important to have a sustained education. A trusted voice, again, trusting that, yes, we know this is being taken care of properly. Partnering with a wide range of stakeholders, communicating with the community, and using existing and emerging technology. It has to be a flexible plan and it is developed that way, to better engage with technology, setting milestones and leveraging future authority facilities to outreach. Organics, as I said before, clean residential yard waste separation, requirements of the benefit use of trash and eventually food waste, and working with the stakeholders in the community. So innovative technologies. Technology is moving super fast in recycling. Waste Management just built a state-of-the-art facility, which we hope to take a tour of. And Coastal Recycling is also building a state-of-the-art recycling facility. And so it's important to keep up with technology and have a system that's flexible enough to deal with new technology. So this is the master plan. You saw this on Mayor Breitkreuz's presentation. The website is browardswa.org. We hope you have an opportunity to look at it. We hope that you will help us get out into the community, especially to our city elected officials, so this becomes a reality. I think it'll be a tremendous benefit to us all in the future. So that's our little spiel. Does anybody have questions? This is a rather complicated business. We've been going to meetings and meetings, and it's quite involved, but it seems to us that having a comprehensive plan where everyone participates and you have economies of scale is a financial benefit and an educational benefit. You'll have a better recycling product, and hopefully with the stress on reducing waste up front, that we'll all be better off and we can handle this tremendous amount of waste that we create every year. Let's see. Linda Bloomfield, do you have a question?
I do. First of all, I have to say congratulations to everybody involved in this project. It is overwhelming, mind-boggling overwhelming. I can't even imagine the time and energy you've all spent on it. So congratulations. My question is, um, what is happening to the electronic and toxic waste that, we're dropping off at the very specific sites for that stuff?
I personally don't know, but I am confident that if it's being handled separately, it's being recycled. I can find out more about it if you're interested, but I think we need more of that. Electronic, I mean, it's such a throwaway society. We keep
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
new iPhones. I mean, and we don't want it to end up in poor communities in Asia or something. So they have these, as you know, these special hazardous waste events, and I think the plan calls for more of that. And I'm confident it's handled properly, but I can find out more. So I need to, okay. Anything else? Any of the, you must have questions.
Not very many, but there is one. Does the food waste diversion program include redistribution of usable food to food pantries, etc.? And
I
I
don't
think
think,
that's probably coming from
yeah,
restaurants. Yeah.
yeah. I don't think that's fully developed yet as part of it. We have a couple of companies that are really growing and do an excellent job in Broward County, and more communities are having programs where they're hiring them for food waste, and but it makes a lot of sense, and I can't rattle off the top of my head the names of some of the there are a lot of efforts out there to make reduce food waste. I mean, there's an effort, I don't remember the names of the group that does it, but there are efforts out there to do what they can to reduce food waste. And we all play a part of that as well, individually, to try to reduce our food waste. But I think I'm hopeful that they will be open to creative ways of trying to, distribute food. Now, there are barriers to that, as you probably know, because of concerns about health. But there are ways around it. But I can't tell you off the top of my head the names of unless someone else on the call here knows more about it.
Susan Steinhauser put the Food Waste Prevention Week
Yes.
link
Okay. There may be
in the
more
chat.
there. Yeah, some organizations that are involved with that. Um, there is a link in the chat to a program that we're putting on as part of our environmental film series that we're doing in conjunction with the library and Sierra Club and Climate Reality. And the next film is on recycling, and it's going to be on February 21st. It's at the West Regional Library in Plantation at 2 o'clock, and we're having three panelists. Mike Ryan, Mayor of Sunrise, who's chair of the Executive Committee of the Solid Waste Authority. Jairo Gonzalez, who has a composting firm, and he's head of a foundation also, composting foundation, and he might know some of the answers to these questions. You gave me a good question to ask him about. And the third person is the CEO of City Furniture, who is doing a wonderful job on the business side of really handling waste, helping to reduce waste and promote clean energy and so forth. So I hope it's free. It's a film. There's a short film to be followed by a panel discussion. So I hope that you all can come. And the link is on there to register. So Um, I think if there's okay, let's see, Ricky, you had a question?
Yes. In the current master plan, what are the plans to move toward composting?
As I said, I don't think it's a commitment that composting is important. There's a commitment that the food waste is a big portion of our waste. We know that food waste in a landfill is very bad,
Yeah.
produces methane, but I think the plan leaves, and I'm sorry that Mayor Breitkreuz isn't here, but I think the plan leaves the governing board to make some of these specific decisions about programming. And the governing board is made up of one representative from every city. So they, it's a roadmap, but the specific programs are left to the cities, which is really probably what they want. So, Elisa? You're muted. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to just add, yes, it is in the master plan. The reality is that in Broward County, we don't have the infrastructure even developed yet for mulching and composting the yard waste. So the first step is to, one, get that sort of clean green, as you mentioned, yard waste collected, but not collected with bulk waste, because many cities put the couches and the plastics and the chairs and the big tree stumps in with this clean green, and then it's contaminated. So they have to separate that and just get the yard waste, so that can then, they'll find a place probably on county property to mulch that first and then start composting. But that's the first step in developing that countywide capacity to actually then deal with food waste. So once that's set up, then you're going to move on to the food waste. Now, that's not stopping smaller programs or programs in schools or things from happening, on college campuses, or, this isn't stopping the movement. It's just saying, to have a huge countywide, non-optional program, there is an infrastructure for that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. 1 second, Stephanie. Yeah, thank you for
Lisa,
saying that. There are school programs now also working on composting. So, and there's a school board member who interacts all the time with the Solid Waste Authority Committee, and they're working in the schools. Stephanie, yes.
I think the infrastructure probably does exist. Xavier from Renewable says that he could handle all the composting from Broward County. It's my understanding that the problem is trying to educate everybody about everything all at once.
Yeah,
That
that's one problem for sure.
Yeah, that we need to teach people how to recycle properly first, that it might be too much.
Right.
I'm the biggest advocate of composting, but even I feel that we need to educate people one step at a time because it may just be too much.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And Stephanie Jaffe is probably solely responsible for hammering into their heads that we need to compost because she started speaking about that from the very beginning, and everybody there came around. So that's great. But yes, you're right. Of course, they did say that. Yeah, Monica.
let's have Elisa introduce herself and what part she plays in the solid waste authority.
Thank you very much. I should definitely do that. Go ahead, Elisa.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Elisa Jones, and I'm the executive assistant to the executive director, Todd Storty. He'll be interim executive director for the next few months due to having a very serious family issue that he's had to put pretty much his life on hold for. But that doesn't mean that he's not still involved. So I've just been in the thick of it with all of the different meetings and subcommittees since last March. So I'm not an expert, but I am, learning on all of these things. And plus I'm on the side, going and getting certifications and stuff in zero waste. So, you learn as you go. And I think that's one of the real main things, is just to crack that door open and start to educate yourself on all the different issues, because there's so many intertwined things. You can't do it all at once. And so really what the master plan is a phased approach. And the first phase is these initial steps of, education and outreach. It's getting these drop-off transfer stations, 8 of them all around the county, so that people can drop off different things. So they can drop off that cardboard. They can drop off, at certain times, e-waste or hazardous waste. They can drop off clean green yard waste. So it's starting to try to promote different ways of participating in dealing with our garbage. So I think there's a lot to it. I was going to mention too, on the website, the master plan is huge, and kudos to those who've gotten through it. But there is a revised executive summary there, which is much shorter and more digestible. And so if you are interested in some of all the reporting and things that they've done, they really have condensed it into something readable with the executive summary.
I think it's 1,300 pages versus 17 or something. So I recommend the executive summary.
It's very good, and it'll give you what you need.
And Elisa is so good at what she does, and very knowledgeable, and a major source of information. So thank you.
And if I don't know, I'll say so.
And I'm glad you came tonight. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
So Allie, I think, do you have a couple of quick announcements, or we're at 8 o'clock, but Allie? Oh, she's doing something else. Okay.
I'm really not. I just couldn't
Okay.
toggle fast enough. But the things that I have really more affect the committee chairs more than anybody else. And
Okay.
I'm them on the calls, and I don't think this would be of interest to them.
Okay.
Have a wonderful evening. That was a great job tonight, by the way.
Okay. So, all right.
Madam
Well, we're
Chair?
at, yes.
Madam Chair, this is Jim Albritton. If I could have 1 minute of your time, I'm a
Sure.
council member from Southwest Ranches. Steve is my mayor. The town of Southwest Ranches entered into an agreement with a private company here about 6 months ago to collect food waste. They give you a 5-gallon bucket. They come around and pick it up weekly or every 2 weeks according to your schedule. They take, compost that, and then bring you back the actual fill or dirt that they've made from your compost. We have 100 volunteers that said they'd like to try the program. The town's paying for it. At the end of a year, I would probably say that 95% of the people that are on the volunteer program now will stay with it. I did receive my first bag 2 months ago. I've been in it about 3 months, 25-pound bag of dirt. You do have to mix that with other dirt because it's so rich. You got to mix it 10 to 1. So I found out that if you wanted to buy the same amount in a big container would cost you $45, and at Home Depot it cost you about $110. So I have it here at the house. I'm going to plant a garden this spring, but there are 2 or 3 private organizations out there, and the town hooked up with one of them, and we're so happy that the town got involved with it.
Thank you. And Carl Springs, where I live, also has a drop-off compost program.
Are you doing
So-
it? I am.
That's right. Yes.
Hollywood
yes,
is also
yes.
picking up.
Yeah. So it's something that you all can certainly advocate for, and it's going to help a lot because it's going to help start to reduce your waste. So we need your help. We need your help in speaking to your city commissioners and just reminding them, they may be all on board, but just reminding them that, yes, you do support, I hope you do, the master plan, and we really hope the cities will be on board, especially if you're in a large city. We need your help doing that. And also in your own individual lives, or talking to businesses you do business with and asking them to reduce their packaging, or trying to compost your food waste, or at least reduce your food waste, be conscious of your purchases. All that helps, and helping to educate friends and family and neighbors so that they know that we really need to do this. So I guess if there's not anything else, I'd like to thank you all for coming, and appreciate it. And I hope that if you want to be on my email list, League Environmental email list, you should have all received an email from me. You might be on it already. Just let us know. Okay. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.